So, councillors, staff and members of the gallery, welcome to the Armidale Regional Council meeting of the 24th of May 2023. Can I please call upon Councillor Galletley to make the civic affirmation?
We, the councillors of Armidale Regional Council, declare that we will undertake the duties of the Office of Council in the best interests of our community and faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in us to be the best of our skills and judgment. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Galletley. And now for acknowledgement of country by Councillor O'Connor. Thank you.
We acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. The Armidale Regional community pays tribute to their love of land, love of people and love of culture.
Thanks, Councillor O'Connor. And now can I call upon the General Manager to make a statement regarding live streaming?
Thank you, Mr Chair. This meeting is being audio and video recorded, and the recordings of the non-confidential parts of the meeting we've made available on the internet. No other persons are permitted to record the meeting unless specifically authorised by Council to do so. And can I please ask that all mobile phones and computers be set to silent? Thank you, Mr Chair.
Thanks, Mr General Manager. I've not received any apologies or requests for leave of absence, although I do note that the Mayor is joining us remotely today via Zoom. Mr Mayor. So, having reviewed the agenda, do any councillors need to declare any conflicts of interest today? None declared. Moving to item 5.1, which is the confirmation of the minutes from the ordinary council meeting held on the 26th of April 2023. Can I call for a mover? Councillor McMichael, and a seconder, Councillor Gaddies. Any discussion about the minutes? No discussion. Can I put that to the vote, please? And carried unanimously. Today we have no mayoral minute. So moving to item 7.1, the council actions report. This report summarises the actions taken on resolutions of council for the period January 2022 to April 2023. Council is asked to note this report. The details of this report are on page 7 of the agenda and page 16 of the attachments. Can I call for a mover? Councillor Robinson, and seconder, Councillor McMichael. Thank you. Any comments about the council action report?
Only to thank Mr Manners for the water information. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Robinson. So can we put this to the vote? And Mr Mayor, yes, okay. So carried unanimously. Now to section 8, finance reports, and 8.1, the cash and investment report for the 28th of January 2023. This report provides an overview of the cash and investments for the month of February 2023. The details are on page 8 of the agenda. We're being asked as a council to note this report. We have a mover for that, Councillor Galletley, and second, Councillor Witters. Any discussion about the cash and investments report for February? No, nothing.
I'm fine.
Okay, and can we put that item to the vote? And Mr Mayor. Okay, sorry, I can see it now. It carried unanimously. So in section 9 of the meeting today, planning and activation. Sorry, 8.2, the cash and investment report for 31st of March 2023. So same as the other one, but the details are on page 14 of the agenda here. Can we ask for a mover, Councillor Gaddies, and a seconder, Councillor Witters? Anything to say about those? No? Put it to the vote and Carried unanimously. Thank you. So sorry, I raced ahead there, but yes. Item 9.1 is the swimming pool barrier inspection program. Following a period of public exhibition where no submissions were received, we have a recommendation to adopt the swimming pool barrier inspection policy. The details of this item are on page 20 of the agenda and page 40 of the attachments. We have a recommendation on the screen to adopt the swimming pool barrier inspection policy. Can I call for a mover? Councillor Galetly, and a seconder, Councillor O'Connor. Any discussion about this item?
I'd just like to congratulate Mr. Micketts on the work he's put in this, and it seems to be pretty thorough. But thank you very much.
Thanks, Councillor Galetly and Councillor O'Connor. Anything? Okay. Being no further discussion, can we put this one to the vote, please? So, and carried unanimously. It's a good record. So now moving to item 10.1, Privacy Management Plan for Review. This report seeks endorsement to place on public exhibition the reviewed Privacy Management Plan. The details of this item are on page 23 of the agenda and 44 of the attachments. We have a recommendation on the screen where council is being asked to endorse the policy for public exhibition and receive a further report once the submission period closes, should any submissions be received, otherwise for the policy to be adopted. Can we have a mover, Councillor Widders, and seconder, Councillor Robinson? Any discussion about the privacy management plan? Councillor McMichael.
I'll just say that this is a this plan. There are small amendments, and they update certain things from a previous plan. But it's always worthwhile looking at our policies, and they can be found on our website. Lots of them.
Thank you. Any other comments to make about that? Okay. So can we put that to the vote, please? We have unanimous result there. The next item is 10.2, which is the appointment of a Code of Conduct Review Panel. This report seeks Council's endorsement with the appointment of panel members to the Armidale Regional Council panel of Code of Conduct Reviewers from the 1st of June 2023 to the 31st of May 2027. The details are on page 25 of the agenda. We have a recommendation on the screen where Council is asked to endorse the appointment of the list of 13 service providers for the 4-year period. A call for a mover, the item. Councillor Widders. And a seconder, Councillor Galetly. Do we have any comments about the Code of Conduct Review Panel appointment?
Yeah, might as well as a mover. We'll loosen the vocal cords up. I think having anything in regards to Code of Conduct for any sort of government entity or public entity is a good idea. Keeps the people in those positions honest, which I think, and transparent, which I think over the last 50 odd years may have been lacking. So the more we can go back to that sort of thing, the better.
Thanks, Councillor Widders. Any other comments about the Code of Conduct Review? Councillor McMichael.
Just for anyone watching or wanting to know, the Code of Conduct, we're all governed by the Code of Conduct, and it says all kinds of things. The people that the council has chosen are chosen over a 4-year term, and it's terrific that we've got a range of people who are available should we need it, if we need it. So,
thanks, Councillor McMichael. Being no further comments, can I put that one to the vote, please? So that's carried unanimously. Thank you. Item 10.3 is the 2022 to 2023 annual report for the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee. This report provides council with an independent report of key achievements, issues identified and other relevant matters for the period of March 2022 to March 2023. Details are on page 29 of the agenda and 66 of the attachments. Council's being asked to note the content of the ARIC annual report. Can I please have a mover? Councillor Packham, and a seconder, Councillor O'Connor.
Mr. Chair.
Okay. I'll go to the mover, Councillor Packham first, and then to you, Councillor O'Connor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to move a motion that Council note the content of the ARIC annual report and request the Chair of ARIC to present the report to Councillors prior to the next ARIC general meeting. That is the motion I wish to put before the thing, and I'll require a second for that.
Okay. Yeah, so
sorry, Mr. Chair, I was actually putting a motion
before
running a recommendation before that point. So
yeah, so you're changing the motion.
Not changing a motion because there was no motion. I am making the motion to note the report, and it's only a recommendation from council. So I'm putting a motion to note the report and request the ARIC Chair to present.
Mr. General Manager.
That's not quite right. Well, not right at all. But essentially, the recommendation there has been moved by Councillor Packham, seconded by Councillor O'Connor. If perhaps Councillor Packham, if Councillor O'Connor is happy to accept it, we could say you want to move. You want to move what's there with the addition of.
Thank
So
you. Yes,
want to clarify
thank
your
you,
point?
Mr. General Manager. I think there may have just been a timing error where I had my mic on to speak and the chair said, did I want to move? I was trying to say something before he said, Packham's moving the motion. And so,
Okay.
But I'm happy if we wish to go down the route that Councillor O'Connor would support me as an amendment to the motion, as you said, that I had put.
Councillor O'Connor. So it's the variation now on, or the, yeah. Can you please read it again,
Yes,
Councillor Packham?
Request the Chair of ARIC to present the report to councillors prior to the next ARIC general meeting. To the next ARIC general meeting. Thank you.
And is that in addition to us noting the report today? Yep. Yep, thank you. Councillor O'Connor.
Yeah, just before we dispose of the matter by way of voting, could we have as a matter arising that the General Manager organise or cause to be organised a meeting with the Chair of ARIC, as has been a standing invitation, on the morning prior to their next meeting, which I can't remember whether it's the 23rd or the 13th of June, but it's coming up next month, isn't it? If we could just have a formal meeting set up so that those councillors who wish to talk with the chair can do so.
Mr. Chair, I can tell you it's already been set up. So
Terrific, fantastic.
So we don't need to put it in here. So now with the amended motion on the screen. Councillor O'Connor, have you got your microphone on to speak? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just speaking now to the motion,
Yes.
I think it's, ARIC does incredible work to support this council and assist us in matters that we may not be au fait with or actually have the breadth and knowledge to consider as being audit, improvement, risk, all the matters that do affect our community. And I think it's a great opportunity for us to be able to engage with those skills at that level on that panel, just to clarify points that we might not have considered and actually ones that we may be interested in knowing how the approach was, and to have another opinion that helps us perform our job in this council. And so I welcome the opportunity for the annual report to be presented to councillors as a whole, should they wish to take up the invitation. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Packham. And Councillor O'Connor, do you have any further comments? No. And any other further comments? Okay, so the amended motion as it stands on the screen, put that to a vote, please. And carried unanimously. Item 11.1, nothing there for assets and services today. So moving to item 12.1 is a notice of motion from Councillor Witters. Councillor Witters has provided a notice of motion in relation to the Armidale Regional Council acknowledging the lands of Anawin, Bambai and Dunghutti people. Councillor Witters, would you like to
if you will indulge me on a few things, I'm going to. I'd like to present a motion from the lectern because I want to have a presentation on the board. Already organised with the Executive Office for that, just so save me swivelling and turning around and doing it from my chair.
I'm just, if you indulge me,
I'll move my motion.
Okay, so Councillor Witters moving. Have a seconder for the motion.
Thanks, Paul.
Councillor Packham, second the motion.
Yep. So just to save me turning around,
Mr. Chair, if I can,
Mr. Mayor.
I'd just like to foreshadow a motion. I just want to get that on as well. Sorry, Councillor Witters, over to you.
back to my indulgence. If you will indulge me to move places, and also due to the importance of this, if you'll indulge me a bit of extra time in moving my motion, then that would be good.
Thanks, Councillor Witters.
Yes, so we can get, that's all right. If we can get that bit bigger for me, that'd be good, but otherwise that's fine. So there seems to be a bit of confusion within the Armidale local government area region about what my motion's about. So I'm going to spend a bit of time here, so please indulge me, and then if you've got any questions or anything afterwards at the end of it. So firstly, I want to, for the benefit of the community, mention my cultural lineage and associations and everything else. Everyone, I think, knows, fairly passionate, fairly proud Anawin man. Through my grandmother, I am also a Kamilaroi person. She's from Terry High out there near Moree, Aboriginal community out there. And then also through my grandfather, who, through his father and through my grandfather, their cultural association, my great-grandfather George was a fully initiated man in the Gumbaynggirr tribe from the Buggawa clan around Nimboida. His mother Jessie is from there, and if you believe the family stories, Jessie Street in Armidale is named after her from when which is now the Lookout, being designated an Aboriginal place. There used to be a settlement up there, and her and my great-great-grandfather Albert were members of that thing. And my great-uncle Arthur was also an initiated man in the Dunghutti tribe. So having all those cultural associations within me, just so people know where I'm coming from. So this is an emotive issue. It's something that I knew would be emotive, which is why in my motion I didn't put any, I've only put one personal comment to show a contradiction. Everything else comes from studies and factual based evidence. There's no personal opinion besides Ray Kelly's thesis in it. Everything that has been done through community consultations by reputable organisations, because I knew there would be 1,000 opinions. I could put 10 people in here and you'll get 10 different opinions. So I wanted to take people's opinions away and use only fact-based evidence, which is what I asked for when I started this motion, was fact-based evidence. Not opinions, not hearsays, not family stories, because we've all got them. We've all got something different. I was looking for evidence-based things. So Most local government areas only sit inside one Aboriginal land. Ours is lucky in the fact that we sit inside 3, potentially 4. And I'm going to show you where they are. That's why I've got the pointer. Mel, can you just roll the screen up a bit so the bottom right-hand corner of our LGA. So that black outline is our LGA. Our LGA doesn't just cover Armidale. I'm sure you all understand that. So that's why I've got the 3 different tribal groups in there. It is factually known that down here at Lower Creek, Karai Plateau, Macleay River, which are we all in agreement is inside our LGA? It is factually known that that is Dunghutti land. The Karai Plateau is one of the most significant Dunghutti cultural sites within their area. So that is inside our land, inside our local government area. Facts. There's no contention, no dispute, that's facts. Up around this way, up through there. Factually banned by land. No dispute, no contention, nothing like that. In the information that I gave out, it's not on there, but over here is Coffs Harbour. We've all been to the jetty at Coffs Harbour Beach. We all know where Muttonbird Island is there. In the information that I gave out, facts, done by community consultation, you stand in Muttonbird Island, you look back towards the mainland, you see Anouan land, described in Gumbaynggirr language as Jarrawan, which is that point there. The other facts is the word Jarrawan describes this area as being Jarrawan land. So, knowing the known boundaries, the factual known boundaries are for Gumbaynggirr are up here through the Bellingen River, Nambucca River, around there, around the Nimboida River, Blix River, and up through that valley, up into the Man River, Clarence River down to Grafton. They are known facts. That's not disputed. All of this area, known facts. Anyway, it's known, it's not disputed. The only contention within this local government area is, as I put in the motion, over in this section, there's a native title claim by the Gomeroi people, put in around 2011, 2012. Hasn't been determined yet. If it is determined, then the people within our local government area boundary, based on the facts, will change. Okay, so it's not about what Armidale people think, because we go from all the way over there, all the way down there. So that's why there's the 3 different, potentially 4. Enough notice. I gave enough notice on this. The mayor can back me up to say, even know that we had a meeting in regards to some of this well over 12 months ago. But those in the community know that I've been looking for information on this for well over 5 years to make sure that I had my facts right. Because it's not you that has to wear, none of you guys have to wear this decision. This is my motion. You can, if someone comes up and you said, why did you do that? You can just defer it back to me. Oh, we followed Councillor Witters' advice. I'm the one that has to walk within my community and justify the things that I've put in this. So I have to make sure that it's factually correct so that the respect is there for the people. The facts are obvious. Everything that I've given you in there is there. So this decision is based on the facts. Because if it was based on emotion, I would have already put the Gomeroi in it, because I actually believe the Gomeroi land claim, but it hasn't been determined. So it's only based on the facts. The language defines it. To say that the language doesn't define where the land is you're saying now that the language is older than all of us. The language is older than our grandparents. The language is older than our grandparents' grandparents. The language is older than our grandparents' 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 grandparents. So to try and say that you disagree with the facts of the language it's not really the right thing to do. I've spoken to a lot of opinionated people on this. A lot of people have come with their own opinion, not understanding where our local government boundary sits. People have said, oh, you can't put these people in there, you can't put that people in there. When I explain to them, this is where our local government boundary sits, their opinions have changed, because they know, based on my reputation and respect within the community, they know that I'm not there to push my own barrow.
Councillor Witters, just to let you know, you're at 7.5 minutes, so if we give you another 2.5.
Yep, sounds good. Okay. There's been talk that this is not a council issue. Well, that's obviously not right because other councils within the state have done the same thing. On May 5th, 2020, Lismore Council erected signs after bushfire saying, "Welcome to Birren Country." Cowra Shire Council commissioned a set of Shire boundary signs to welcome visitors into the region, which have Wiradjuri country on them. 2014, Bathurst Council put up signage that said Wiradjuri country. Sutherland Shire has Dharawal country on their Shire signs. The city of Parramatta has a sign that states, "Originally inhabited by the Dharawal-speaking people." Walgett Shire has welcomed Kamilaroi country. There's talk that this should be a federal issue. I've sat in this chamber and listened to other councillors push what should be federal issues, saying that they're local government issues because we're working from the ground up, working from the smaller things up. And this is another example of that. We don't need another community surveys. They've been done. The bulk of Rhonda work that was in the information started 30 years ago. The Gumbaynggirr language dictionary started 35 years ago. So all the information, all of it's been done. You're not going to get anything new over the next 2 months. And how do you propose, if you want community consultations, how do you propose to do it? Are you going to talk to all the Dunghutti people and use related resources? Same for the Bambai people, Annawam, Gomeroi. How long is it going to take? Or are you only going to talk to a handful of people within Armidale? That's why I used undisputed factual evidence based on the research that's already been done. So in the interest of time, and I can come back with a right of reply if I choose to, let's be the leaders we were voted in to be. Let's get with the times and start recognising our shared landscapes and history, and let's not look for reasons to sit on our hands and look like we're doing something to make ourselves feel better. Is what we say at the start of the meeting only lip service, or are we really paying respect to the elders past, present and emerging? So I'll leave it at that. Any questions, let me know, and I'll come back with a right of reply if needed.
Thank you, Councillor Witters. As a seconder, Councillor Packham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank Councillor Witters for putting forward his motion. The celebration of all First Nations is the first step in achieving a cohesive and diverse society. I just wish to thank Councillor Witters for putting forward his motion.
Councillor O'Connor, you had your light on.
Yeah, there's so much I could say, but I choose not to say it, other than to say that hell will freeze over before I vote as a non-Aboriginal person, but with historic colonial family connections to Aboriginal people in another place. Hell will freeze over before I agree to exclude a major nation that has claims here. And I'm speaking about the Gumbaynggirr Nation. So tribal group, whatever. I just want to say that this is just walking into a firestorm of cultural wars, which, with great respect, I'm really grateful to Councillor Witters for showing us the map and the reasons, but this is way, way too complex a matter for us to get involved in at this stage.
Thanks, Councillor O'Connor. Councillor Galettley.
Thanks for that that briefing on that, Councillor Witters, but I'd like to have a bit more confidence than you saying just defer it back to me if anyone comes to you. I'm a little bit bewildered how I'm going to make a decision on this and I'll just defer them back to you. I think I need a little bit more concrete than that, but I'm afraid I won't be taking this bait. Thank you very much.
Councillor Robinson.
Yeah, no, the Mayor said that he foreshadowed another motion. Can he actually show us what it is? Because we need to know that before we vote on this one. Thank you.
No, he has to wait until after the motion's been voted.
Need to vote on this motion.
I think you can actually say the motion, can't you? That tells what it is before we vote on this one.
We deal with this and then we get to the foreshadowed motion.
Are there any other comments to Councillor O'Brien?
No, I just wondered if we are able to see it, or is that not possible? Or because I've done foreshadowed motions before and we saw it, but I could be wrong. I'm just curious if there's a ruling on this that you guys could let us?
Mr. Mayor, you.
I did. Thanks, Mr. Chair. Look, I think I can read it out, which will give you. I'll make this part of my 5-minute comment. I've been supportive of Councillor Widders, in this journey that he's taken to get.
If you're going to foreshadow a motion, then you foreshadow what your motion says at the start so that people know. To halfway through a debate, which then changes the motion. If this motion doesn't get up, then you can move your procedural motion. Otherwise, if you foreshadow a motion, you have to say what your foreshadowed motion is. Like, you can't do it halfway through a debate. So have to finish this debate, and then if this one goes down, then the foreshadowed motion can then be moved.
Procedural motion, Councillor Widders. I'd just like to have my 5 minutes as a member of the gallery. Sorry, as a councillor.
So I'm not interrupting. It's a procedural motion.
That's okay. I have been I've been supportive of Councillor Widders with his push to have the traditional owners of our LGA acknowledged on signs. I think that's sound. As a region, we stand out as one that doesn't do that. And I really think we should. My foreshadowed motion is really just one more about consultation. Because I don't want to see this fall over at this meeting. I'd like the momentum to be maintained.
Motion that Councillor Widders has raised. I'll just defer to the General Manager to.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'd suggest we deal with this motion on its merits, without any necessary unnecessary influence about what might be coming, and then once this has been dealt with, and if it gets up, then the foreshadowed motion lapses. If this doesn't get up, then the foreshadowed motion can come forward. Thanks, Mr. Chair.
So, did you have any further comment, Mr. Mayor?
No, I didn't.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from the chamber?
If there's no other, I've got a right of reply.
Would you like a right of reply?
Yeah,
Councillor
why not?
Widders?
Why not? Because I had a bit more to say. As, again, in my speech, I mentioned that, and I asked for this, like no one, I've asked from social media, in this council chamber, at Aboriginal advisory groups, I've asked for people to bring me evidence. I've been pulled up in the street walking along. People have said to me, yeah, I'll bring you something. Nothing's come forward. We give most things on any motion 28 days to put in submissions. I've given 5 years. As I said, what sort of consultation are you going to do and how long is it going to take? That's why I put in stuff that's already had consultation done. If you want to go and say, let's go out and consult, how are you going to consult? Are you going to forget, as I said, where our boundaries cover? Are you going to go down to Lower Creek and into Kempsey, into Bellbrook, into Maxville and talk to all of the Dunghutti people there? Are you going to go all the way out west? Moree, Mungandai, Narrabri, Tamworth, all these places where Gomeroi land covers, and you're going to talk to them. You're going to go all through Armidale. Are you then going to go into, say, Lismore and everywhere else? Because up in the top corner we bought a Bundjalung. Like, the studies have already been done. The community's already been consulted. If you followed the information, it's all there. To say that you know better or we want to think, it's patronising to not only me but to my people and my countrymen and my countrywomen. If there was any issue or any contention forward, people were given enough notification. We can't decide and wait on what is. you put your hand up on council to make hard decisions, make decisions that aren't going to make you popular. And back to Councillor Gladley's point, I get your point on you're not making a decision based on me, but I'm the one that's got to wear it because I'm the one that's given you the information there and expecting you to support me with it. So that in itself, I'm putting my reputation on the line to trusting with you guys that I've made the right decision and the right thing. If you don't want to make a decision on this, don't patronise me and don't patronise my people and don't patronise my countrymen and women and come up with excuses. Excuse me, I'm still talking. Excuse you. When you finish,
Councillor O'Connor, I mean, yeah, if we can just maintain that.
I'm happy if you have an objection to the information that I've given you. Come at me, give it to me. Like I've always asked. No, there's been no thing where I've said, I don't want that information. I've asked for information all the time. Make an objection to the information. Make an objection to the fact. Don't make objections on hearsay or personal opinions.
Thanks, Councillor Witters, for your response. No.
Ask a quick little question?
No, you can't.
No.
No, sorry. Right of reply has closed it. So at this point, we need to look at the notice of motion and put it to the vote. So do I have any? Those, yes, those in favour? Those against?
Oh.
And Councillor McMichael's abstaining. Did you get those numbers? No. Right. Okay, so the Mayor... just 1 second, Mr Mayor. Mel. No? Okay. Mr Mayor, you had a foreshadowed motion, which now you can put forward as a motion.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Chair. My foreshadowed motion is that Armidale Regional Council to erect signs on or within the LGA boundary that acknowledge the traditional custodians. Consultation with the community is to be undertaken to determine appropriate signage. And councillors, just if I can speak to this is, I see as an opportunity to grab the nettle and keep this going. I can understand Councillor Witters' frustration, and I'm sure there'll be no doubt some disappointment there, but we have to keep this going. It's going to be important that councillors explore further, but also are seen to explore further and to give us a level of comfort. So this foreshadowed motion, and I'll be seeking a seconder shortly, is one that allows us to do all of those things. It keeps the spirit of what we're seeking to do alive, and I think it makes sense from a probity point of view. So that's me moving it.
Brian. And do you have any more to say, Mr Mayor, about the motion?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Thank you. Councillor O'Brien.
Yes, I just want to thank all the local Aboriginal people in this area who have educated me over the years about the local history, and particularly and more specifically in the last couple of months about what a concrete acknowledgement to them in this way as proposed would mean to them, and I really appreciate that education. Armidale is a very rich historical and culturally diverse town, and I do believe we are way past the time when we do what many other places have done already long ago, and that is to acknowledge the first people in this town, in this area. We must do this. It's to not only because we should acknowledge who came here first, but also we must educate the town and educate those who are passing through about the first people, about our history and how important that is. I remember going to Bingra, seeing the Mile Creek Massacre Memorial, and one of the most amazing aspects of that I found was that they referred to the landscape as they told their story. And you could see the hill where things happen, you could see the ridge, you can see the valleys, and it really hit home to me then, and in a way I haven't really been able to shake it, the enormous hidden history of our nation. The stories not told, the stories uncovered, the stories that are yet to be told. This truth-telling is a crucial part of knowing who we are as a people, knowing who we are as a nation, and I strongly believe that that's a really important part of moving forward in a way that's reconciliation. I've never understood the idea that people talk about divisiveness when they're acknowledging the first people and understanding their part in our history. What's divisive was the massacres, the people who couldn't vote, the people who couldn't go on to council land. That was what was divisive. Reconciliation is what this is, acknowledging the people who lived here. But this isn't about kicking this down the road. This is not about not making a decision now. This is what I've learned over the last couple of months is, in fact, a lot of people do have different views, do have really good advice about what could go on the signs and how we move forward and where they should be. I think that we all need to be still further educated. My education is still ongoing. I like to get my education from not just one person, but from all the people in the community. And I can say that not everybody was, I found it hard to find anyone that was on board with this, to be honest. Most people said they would like to talk to us. They would like other ideas. They had some really good ideas about how we proceed forward. And no one is more sympathetic or encouraging than this idea of recognising our first people in this area. But I do believe it should be done in a way that we as councillors feel confident that we are making this decision fully informed, that we've taken on board ideas, information from the whole community, and I can tell you it isn't one voice, it's many voices, and that when we move forward, we know that this important decision is made knowing that we came to a table with open minds, open hearts, and a willingness to do the very, very best on this important issue. And that's why I support the notion of continuing forward and making sure that our consultation continues so that we can make the best decision that we can. So thank you very much to the Indigenous people and to the Council for, I hope you will support this. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor O'Brien. Councillor Witters. Councillor O'Brien, can you just turn your microphone off? Oops. Councillor Witters.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that literally 4 minutes ago, 5 at the most, I asked you not to patronise me, all my people. And you did. This motion does that. It seriously does that. You sit here and you give lips. I'm sorry, and I'm not going to say that. That's why. I presented you now. Okay, from listening to the conversation to you, it seems to me that the idea is that this motion that I just put up, that was put down, and that's fair enough. I was asked to do it in a different way, and I chose not to based on my ethics. My ethics were to give you the information and let you make the decision yourself. I'm not here to try and ring people and say, I want you to support my motion or do anything else. Here's the information, you read it. Now, that's what council's about. Like, I put up a motion and got shut down. But I asked you not to patron. Look, I did. And yet you do, because in the information I was given, I gave out in my motion, everything that's just been mentioned has already been done. I asked in my presentation how you were going to do the consultations, because when are you going to do the consultations? What time frame are you going to do it? Like, what are you looking for stuff that disagrees with what I've put out there, what the information already says, what the known facts already says? Or are you looking for confirmation bias on stuff you want to believe? Are you, like, this motion has no substance to it. Like, what else is it? Like, if you're going to say consultation, put something else with it. Don't just say, let's go out and do it, because it's a wishy-washy motion. Put a time frame, say how you're going to do it, and then put it out there. Like, it is really, really disappointing that the fact that everything that was just said from Councillor O'Brien is what I've done over the last 5 years. Talk to the community. Talk to the community outside of Armidale, not just inside my own little bubble. Researched, looked at everything else, and then you're going to say, oh, we need community consultation. All that, to me and to the people that asked me to move this motion forward, is just a way to say that we don't want to make a decision and we'll just move it down the road. It really is disappointing, and I'll go back to the local government Aboriginal network, let them know that this was the result, and it's again embarrassing that we're so far behind.
Thanks, Councillor Witters. Councillor O'Connor.
Look, thank you very much, Councillor Witters, for that response, because it actually helps me think through, you know, my position on this. I intended not to support the the foreshadowed motion, but I really would like to thank Councillor O'Brien for her speech as well, because it's made me think, and I actually think it is time we grasp the nettle. I totally reject the notion that us trying to be careful about this is somehow patronising, with respect. I don't think that's the intention at all. In fact, I think this is a very courageous alternate motion, because we're actually probably going to get battered and bruised by going down this pathway, as you can see from the larger dilemma that our nation faces when having the voice debate pressed on it. But I think it actually is time for us to do something to acknowledge the original owners, occupiers, the community that was here on the land that is what our local government area covers. And I really want to thank Councillor Witters for the research he's done. We've had absolutely no dialogue about this, which is probably a shame, and I hope that'll change. I came with strong opinions, but I want to go forward really trying to find a way forward. And I'd just like to recommend to anybody that's listening on the live stream and my colleagues here, if you go down to Parliament House and you'll in Canberra, you'll see a lot of artwork that actually shows huge respect, or some respect, to the Aboriginal community there. And I actually think that art may be the way forward here, because it is a very delicate issue when you've got, as Councillor Witters said, 10 different opinions at any given moment on who was here, who are the legally entitled First Nations occupiers of the land that our LGA covers. But I just want to really congratulate Councillor Witters and the Mayor and everybody here who's, if this motion gets up, for being willing to go down this path, because I think it is time that we had visible recognition of the truth, the authentic Aboriginal identity of our LGA. So thank you.
Sorry, I don't have a microphone on, so the Mayor wouldn't hear me. But Mr. Mayor, do you want to write a reply on this one?
No, thank you, Mr. Chair. I think it's simplistic enough.
Thank you. In which case, if there's no further comments, put this to the vote. So those for the vote. It's 10, and those against, 1. Thank you. Now, moving to the next item on our agenda is item 13.1, which is the Access Advisory Committee minutes. We're being asked as a council to note the minutes.
If we're just noting it, that's fine. I just wanted to put out the word that we are looking for some people from Guyra. If they wanted to join the Access Advisory Committee, that would be most welcome. I don't know if that's the right time to do this.
Welcome to. Can we have a mover for this? Councillor McMichael, and a seconder, Councillor Robinson. You could have been quicker, Councillor O'Brien, but never mind. So, Councillor McMichael, any discussion on this?
Just like to echo my councillor O'Brien's comments that we'd like anyone from Guyra who's interested in being on the Access Committee to join. The committee's also been looking at the tactile paths around the city. They've been installed for some time, but we're looking at how they work and whether they can be whether they need to be extended or further things. We've also sent out notes to traders to remind them that you can't put signs on the tactile paths. Makes life a little bit difficult for people. We are having an e-scooter trial in the next 3 to 4 months, which will be exciting. So I think that's all I've got to say. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor McMichael. And Councillor Robinson, did you have anything to say? Any other comments? Okay, that being the case, can we put this to the vote, please? Those 4. And thank you, unanimous. Next item 13.2 is the Traffic Advisory Committee minutes from the 2nd of May 2023. This report seeking Council's endorsement of several plans and changes recommended by the Traffic Advisory Committee. Details are from page 41 of the agenda and 85 of the attachments. There's a recommendation on the screen where Council is being asked to endorse proposed changes and plans recommended by the Traffic Advisory Committee. Have a mover for this item. Councillor McMichael and a seconder, Councillor Robinson. Any discussion about this?
Just a few things. There's a few recommendations in this month. There's a couple of events happening in the near future. The Austin Page College Coast Run, which will be terrific, and also the gymnastics event, which will be happening, and we're putting up traffic, slowing down traffic signs again. In terms of slowing down traffic, Council Bridge people have been looking at our bridges. We have a number of timber bridges in the region, approximately 15, I think. 3 of them, there's a rating that they get, and 3 of them are at number 3. And what the Traffic Committee has decided to do is get slow the traffic down to 10 kilometres. Now that's pretty slow, but the bridges require urgent action to prevent further deterioration and risk of collapse. None of us want that at all, so we're asking that the traffic go down to 10 kilometres on the 3 bridges, and we're having a maximum load. We're lowering the maximum load on the bridges. So it may be complicated for freight in the region, but the council staff are working with affected people, and we thank them for that. Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor McMichael. Councillor Robinson, any comments? Any further comments from anyone else? We put this to the vote. And Mr. Mayor. Okay. That's a unanimous vote there.
Excuse me, Mr.
Councillor O'Connor.
Mr. Deputy Mayor. Look, I noticed that the urgent matters has drifted off the agenda again, I think. But I just wanted, if I can, to, before we go into closed and before we deal with item 14, to just congratulate Council on the very I think it was very successful,
Big chill.
Big chill, sorry. I'm just not able to drink beer or eat meat at the moment, so I'm a little bit rusty on all that. But I've just heard so many good reports, and this morning when we met with the point-to-point commissioner, who is a regulator as well of all the current or local and additional Ubers and drivers and taxis that came in, there was absolute satisfaction with all the arrangements that council staff had made. And I was at a meeting yesterday, a community meeting, and once again people were thrilled with the event. So I think that needs to be acknowledged, and congratulations to everybody involved. I absolutely wasn't, but it sounds like everybody had a great time, and I could hear the music from my office. So thank you.
Yeah, I second that. So thank you, Councillor O'Connor. It was a very successful event and very positive information coming back from the point-to-point commissioner this morning. So at this point in time, we end the open session of the meeting. So thank you very much, and we enter into the closed section. Can I have a motion to move that the closed session, to move into the closed session, and if resolved, ask that the public exit the chamber, which there's no public in here, while we go to closed session. So moved by Councillor O'Connor, seconded by Councillor Rob O'Brien. So put to the vote. Move into closed session unanimously. Thank you very much. Councillors, back to the open session. Ask the General Manager to read out the resolutions of the closed session. I don't believe we had any members of the public that wanted to come back in because we had none in the first place. So thank you. Thanks, Bernsey.
Thank you, Mr Chair. Two items in closed session, councillors. Item 15.1, the engagement of a contractor construction of Taylor Street New Shed Path, Man to Kentucky, resolved by council that A, accept the tender submitted by Connex Group Proprietary Limited of $264,536 excluding GST to construct Taylor Street New Shed Path from Man Street to Kentucky Street. B, delegate authority to the General Manager to approve expenditure up to the upper funding limit of $272,495 excluding GST available for the project from Local Roads Community Infrastructure Program Phase 3. And C, delegate authority to the General Manager to execute all documents in relation to the contract. Item 15.2, Mr Chair, airport security screening, establishment of a third terminal departure gate for operational use, resolved by council that it endorsed continued negotiations with the airlines in relation to security screening. Thank you, Mr Chair.
Thanks, Mr General Manager. If there's no further business, then I declare this meeting closed.